Alright, hello everyone and welcome to my presentation titled Delta Neutral AMM CLMM LP Hedging with Sorting on a Centralized Exchange. So let's get into it. What's the big idea behind the project is that many liquidity pools offer very attractive yields. However, when one side or both sides of the pool are volatile assets, then we can lose a lot of the value of our inventory, at least in USD terms, if the price swings heavily to the downside. So the goal of this strategy is to hedge the volatile asset of the liquidity pool on a centralized exchange. So in these projects, we always assume that one side of the pool is a stable coin. As an example, we could provide liquidity into Solana USDC pool on Radium, while simultaneously shorting Solana on a centralized exchange like CEX. So how does this strategy work? We use a directional trading controller that checks both the liquidity pool position and our short position at regular intervals, for example 10 seconds, and at each check the controller can decide whether to open a new liquidity pool position if it doesn't exist or use the existing one. It can also decide whether to open to adjust a short or open a new one according to configuration, and when stopping the bot it can also decide whether to stop the shorting, the liquidity, close the liquidity pool, or do both according to the configuration. So the key objective here is to keep the short on the centralized exchange as close as possible to the amount of the volatile asset in the liquidity pool. For this we define a rebalance percentage, for example 5%, as we'll see afterwards, and if the difference between the volatile asset amount in the pool and the short size exceed 5%, then we adjust the short. So with this, let's see a sample configuration of our strategy. So we see that we use CEX perpetual and the trading pair Solana USDT, and we have to set the address, which is the Solana USDC pool on Radium, and you see it is a CLMM, and we also define this pool AMM false. We see the rebalance percentage as 5% and the interval 10 seconds, and here we see that we will not use any existing short size and also close everything when stopping the bot. We also have to provide information for opening the pool, like for the range and how much of the base asset, how much Solana and how much USDC we need. Okay, so now let's run the bot. So okay, so now the bot is running, and we see here that on Radium has opened a position where have almost 0.38 Solana, and on CEX we have a short almost 0.39. Let's see some key metrics that we monitor. So here we see, for example, the entry price and the entry time, which are key metrics, and the rebalance percentage, which it is at 5%, and the current divergence is at 1.18%. We see the size shorted on the DEX and the actual size on the pool. And we have profitability, which is the difference of the initial value of the pool and the current value. And we also have the portfolio value, the same for the whole portfolio value, that includes the amount on the centralized exchange, and also includes the fees. We also have APR, APY, but if you don't run it more than one day, these are meaningless. And we also have the last update. So as future improvements, I intend to implement dual asset hedging, so that one can enter pools that both assets are cryptos. Another good improvement would be on-chain shorting, so to have to do the short on a perp DEX on Solana, so that we can have we can move liquidity from the perps to the pool and vice versa very easily. And of course there can be algorithmic enhancements on the shorting, and a lot of strategy combinations. So I would be very happy to discuss potential improvements and strategy combinations with all of you. Thank you very much for your attention.